So, what is this business about? What's in it for me and how do I start? I think really that's what we should always remember. People don't really want to know what you know. They want to know what's in it for them. They're not really interested in anything else. They just want to know what's in it for them and how do they start. But this is equally relevant for any new person or for any person in the business, because it doesn't change. And sometimes we get too clever when we've been in the business a bit longer. So let's go back to day one and just do what we need to do and keep it simple. So really, what do we want to do? We want to retail. That's all you're having to do is collect orders for £1,000 over Clean Easy's 4-week period. That's all. And when I say that's all, if you know what you've got to achieve and we tell you what you've got to do to get it, then job done. Job really done. Don't target 10%. Do not target 10%. Target £1,000. Then you'll get your 10%. Target 10%, you're scrabbling in the last week. Don't do that. It is only £250 of orders every week. That's all. But if you're online, break it down. £36 a day, or if you want 2 days off, whichever weekend you choose to worship, then it's 50 quid a day. So keep those targets in mind. But if you're really, really smart, now that we have both, do both. Once upon a time, we only had catalogues, so therefore we had to make time to do our catalogues. We couldn't fit it into little pockets because even doing 100 catalogues will take you an hour through doors. And if you didn't have a printer like we didn't, then it took you longer because you had to knock on them to make sure the people knew when you wanted them back again. So your catalogues, if you're doing catalogues, do a minimum of 200 catalogues delivered twice every week. If you're going to take a week off and you still want to hit that target, then do more the week before, do more the week after, and sort it out. Because if you spread things, it just makes things so much simpler and easier. The reason I'm saying 200 catalogues twice a week is, twice a week is quite simple. You want to be able to collect at least 250 of those catalogues to make sure you get £250 of orders. The averages do vary though, from place to place. I was talking to somebody today who gets 46p a book. But you know the great thing about that? You know you're getting 46p a book. So you have to do twice as many if you're getting £1 a book. Make those things work for you. Once you know the figures, I love figures. I think they're wonderful because they paint so many, they tell the story. It's so easy once you know the figures. Gosh, the story's there in front of you. And we even put wee visual things in now, you know, for those people who don't like figures. But you can get to love them very, very quickly. But do remember the averages do vary from place to place, and also the books collected. When in where we used to stay, you could guarantee if you put 400 books out, well, 200 books out, you would collect between 140 and 160. Now I know that Lynn used to say to me, we don't get that many back in. And I used to think, why not? We do. I'm sure everybody does. So certain places just don't put their books out. I could actually hold my customer base up and point out the people to you who never put the book on the doorstep to this day. Why do I let them away with it? Because I let them away with it and they give me orders every time. That's why I let them away with it. But track your progress so that you know your averages. Online, well, it's nice and simple. Do enough discussion posts, 3 products and 60 groups daily, and then your marketplace posts as well. Now, I've said 3 products and 10 groups and then double it up to more. But you can do 4, 5 or 6 posts if you wish, but do spread it out. Remember when you're posting on groups that different people look at those groups at different times. There are perhaps more people look in the evening, but I've noticed that there's a lot of people look at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I'm only up at 7 o'clock this week because my grandson needed a lift to his work. And that's what you do. So once you start posting from day one, it will take you longer at the beginning just to get that momentum. With catalogues, you don't have that delay. You put your catalogues out, you collect them, you get your averages. With your online, you have to realise that your posts have to build up. So if you're putting 3 products on in 60 groups, tomorrow you're putting on another 3 products in 60 groups, so you're doubling up very quickly. So you know, remember though, if you don't hit your target, if you don't get £36 of orders today, then you have to add that onto your week's target so that you're hitting your target at the end of that week. Don't say, oh, well, that's okay, I'll get £36 tomorrow. No, you actually need a bit more than that tomorrow to keep it going. But a few weeks into your stride, you'll do no bother. Now, can I say, this should not say £100 in 3 weeks. This should say £1,000 in 3 weeks. So do your £1,000 in 3 weeks, make that your target. Because if you do it in 3 weeks, whoopie-doo, the 4th week really is a bonus. Or if you do it in 3 weeks, you know, that makes sure that your 13% is within reach. And doesn't that make you feel good? But what do you earn? What do you earn? Your Clean Easy book, remember, your main book pays you 21% and your K-Life pays you 15%. Now, it was very simple to do those figures when it all paid 21%. Now, you have to kind of think, right, okay, what do I do? And I have to say, 3/4 of my orders, 75% of my orders will come from the main book, of which I am very happy. Yes, it's less value, but I make more profit. And if they buy something at £7, you generally find that they top it up to £10 or £20. If they buy something out the K-Life at £20, they don't top up. So there's pluses and minuses. So I've calculated it on a 75-25 split. And my apologies if your retail isn't based that way. So here's what you earn though. £750 of orders. This is your 4 weeks. You've done £1,000. Well done. You are happy. You'll see my wee caption up there. You are happy about it. So you've got £750 of orders from your main book and you've earned £157.50 cash in hand from that. That's your profit once you take the orders out to your customers. The other £250 of orders has come from your K-Life, and from that you've earned £37.50 cash in hand. Combined, it's £195. Just the same as if it was online and you were delivering it. But do remember, if it's all online and it's all posted, you're talking 15% for everything. However, your end of period bonus still stays the same because you've hit your 6% of your cash value, but your 10% sales plan value, which is around £60, giving you a total profit that period of £255. So what's next? Now remember I said it's really simple. Well, you teach someone else how to do the same as you did. But why would you teach them and who will you teach? Because I remember asking those questions. Who? The people you know and the people you don't know. Because not only will you get Facebook leads, but we can buy leads. Look around, look for reputable companies, ask your upline, and they will advise you which companies have been in the market for a long time and where they might not be the cheapest, but probably a better quality of lead, if there is that. But please don't misunderstand. Not everybody from a bot lead is going to say yes. It pans out. All the people you know who really need, and we've all done this as well, I hope, is you speak to all the people you think really need that extra income, and they all tell you they're not interested. I remember being shocked, absolutely shocked and astounded that they wouldn't grab it with both hands and start running. But what about the people that you know who don't need that extra income? Because we didn't. Nobody would have asked us. We replied to a newspaper ad. So how many people will you need to speak to? Well, I would suggest at least 50 a week. And once you start using your leads and talking to the people, you'll find out how many you need to get your 1 or 2 people in. Because again, it's like the catalogues. You'll have your own averages and they'll just be yours. They'll get better, or you'll get different averages. I don't mean they'll get better, but they will get different averages. But remember, when you're speaking to people, you don't want to change their mind, you want to give them information. And the reason we say 50 is, if you speak to 1 or 2, well, there might be somebody interested, you don't know until you speak to them. But what if 2 out of those 3 people don't answer the phone? Well, you get really focused on trying to get them to speak to you. But if you've got new people coming in to your inbox or to your email wanting information, you don't focus quite so heavily on the ones that don't want to speak to you or are too busy to speak to you. Here's some facts though, and this was, well, they were presented to me as facts. I don't know if they were on the internet or on a newspaper, but I remember coming across them. And I know some of them, well, you'll have seen because I posted them in our group to let people see that. A single person needs a minimum annual income of £17,900 to survive. We're not talking about to live. We're talking about survival here. Survival's not, it doesn't paint the picture of a yellow sunny day, not to me. A single parent with 1 preschool child needs an annual income of £25,900 to survive. I didn't get the figures for a single parent with 1 teenage child, what kind of income they need, because it will be considerably more. A family of 4 need both parents to work and each earn an annual income of £20,400. So they need an annual income of £40,800 to survive. Now, I do know that people, and I know people who do earn that kind of money every year. But, you know, looking at the jobs just now and the earnings that people are earning and the hourly rates, they've gone backwards. Many people are earning less now than they were 10 years ago, and everything's increased. Most single parents have a shortfall of £67 every week. No wonder you see those ads on Facebook saying manage your debt. Don't manage debt. It shouldn't be that. It should be a case of earn more and I'll show you how, so that you get out that dreadful trap. Most working couples have a shortfall of £59. Do you know how they could bridge the shortfall? Of course we do. But would they all want to? Unfortunately, the answer is no, because sometimes when you're in that situation, it's very difficult to be able to see your way out of it. So let's look at what's in it for me, though. If you do introduce, going back to my question of why would I? Never mind the how. And I've based it on the same amount of orders as we had before, the 75-25 split. And here you are, you still earn £157.50 from your 750 orders. You still earn £37.50 from your 250k life. Your cash in hand is still £195. It doesn't change. Your end of period bonus has increased by £20. Not a lot, but a little. And the total for 4 weeks, well, it's increased by £20, £375. So if you go back, £67 and £59 shortfall, do you think that would help? The person you've introduced, though, you've shown them how to do what you've done. That's all. Just exactly the same. And they've earned £255, just the same as you earned when you were on your own. And if they fall into this category, I'm sure they'll be delighted. And what's next? Well, there you go. It's repetition, isn't it? Do it again for yourself and show your friend how to do it. As I say, it's really, really simple. As a human race, we make things complicated for ourselves, unfortunately. But maybe you've got bigger plans. Well, there's nothing to stop you saying, that's not a problem, just do twice as much and do it a bit so that you get there a bit quicker. If you were in a job and you thought, I'd like to earn a bit more money this week, I'll just stay on and do some overtime. There's a wee man called, or a wee girl called your boss, who says, wait a minute, that's not in the budget. You can't earn extra money this month. If you're not getting your work done in the time that's allocated, you can certainly stay on and finish it, but I'm not paying you. Clean Easy don't do that. You do twice as much, you earn hopefully twice as much. But here you are. What you've done is, you've now shown 3 people. You had your friend and you've told her how to do what you did in the first month. And it is monkey see, monkey do. Because if someone comes into the business and see you bringing in a friend, they'll go and talk to their friends, they'll copy you. But you've decided you want to do it a wee bit quicker, so one of your customers has joined and so is one of your neighbours, because you told them what you earned. Now, I will say again, the big checks aren't as appealing to a person generally, I'll say generally, to a person who has never looked at network marketing before. They want to see you 250, 300, 350, 400 is much more believable and achievable to the person who isn't in the business yet. So let's get down to the cash in hand, because it remains the same. You've now got 4 people in your business. You're turning over £5,000. You've got a 4-week bonus here. And that's just from your orders, because now you're hitting the 12% in cash terms and monetary terms, 18% sales plan value. That gives you a 4-week bonus of £120. From your £1,000 of retail, you're now earning £315. You're earning almost a third of your retail in profit. That's good. Ask any shopkeeper. If they were to get a 33% return on their products in the shop, they would probably be really, really pleased, particularly if it's a weekly turnover and having no stock to hold. But your team bonus is going to click in as well. This person here, remember though, is going to earn £275. You're going to earn £200 because you've introduced 3 people, shown one of those people how to introduce a person, giving you the 4-week income of £515. Now that's getting a wee bit more interesting to the majority of people, and they can see what's in it for them. But what's in it for everyone, really? Now, some people will say to you, it doesn't work like that. That's too simple. Well, sometimes it doesn't work like that, but it is simple. We're the ones that do make it difficult. We try to change our wording because we've spoken to 3 people and they've said no. So we change it because it must be something we've said. No, it's not. Believe in me. It's not what you're saying. It's just you've not said it to enough people yet. So just keep doing what you're doing. We change our adverts because we're not getting enough leads back from them. Well, maybe you want to have a look and see if you've got too much information in them, because we do something sometimes. Maybe we haven't got any money in them. So there are reasons to look at what you're doing, but don't stop believing in what you're doing. Maybe people have joined and they've not done anything. Well, sometimes people don't, but maybe if you've got a few people who haven't done anything, maybe you should have a chat with the person who introduced you so that they can maybe have a chat to you about the fact that some people just don't do anything. Some people do 3 orders and you never hear from them again. It's often what happens, and particularly when you're new, because your enthusiasm draws people in, which is a good thing. Don't stop being enthusiastic, but it draws people in. And then they sit down and say, but wait, I've got to work to make this money. Enthusiasm doesn't make the money. That's the only difference. So don't stop what you're doing, just keep doing what you're doing and it'll all sort it. Sometimes we don't think we're as clever or we're as smart or we're as able as someone else. Don't compare yourself. It's called comparalitis. Don't do it. Look at yourself, decide if you're comfortable with you, chat to your upline who wants you to succeed, and keep going. So why wouldn't you be able to do it? Why not? Here is something that, sorry, let me have a look. Oops. Here's something that has been around for a long, long time. And this is networking in its purest form. You start off with just you, and everybody does. You, a bag of catalogues or 5 catalogues. And you do with it whatever you choose. In week, and it used to be maybe month, but now things have geared up an awful lot. The internet has rushed things through. Everything's become much quicker, much more bustly, and excitement builds businesses. It really does. get excited. It builds your business. And bringing, what's more exciting than bringing people into a business? There's nothing more exciting than that. Well, there is. Seeing them put through the first order, hit their first 10%, keep hitting their 10%, hit their 13%. I suppose there's lots of exciting things. I've been in a long time, I still find it exciting. I love it when it works for people. It really, really pleases me. But what about the first week if you brought in a friend? And then the next week, that friend brought in someone else. That's week 3. In week 3, you bring in your second person. In week 4, your week 1 person brings in a new person. That's then got 2 people. The person that they brought in week 3 brings a new person in. Your person that you brought in week 3 brings in a new person in week 4. And you bring in someone as well. You've only brought in, you've only sponsored and introduced 3 people. But you've got how many? 8 people in your group. That's networking. That's how networking works. Expect it to work like that for you. You're almost at gold. You only need 1 more person. What would I have done? What would I have suggested if you were sitting at that level? I would have suggested that you work twice as hard that period and brought in 1 more person and hit your gold. You don't want to miss gold. If you're a couple of £100 away from it, start searching around and see if you can get some more orders for it. I don't suggest by any shape or form that you want to retail to gold. You can if you wish, it's done. However, there's networking. And I think I did that training in 30 minutes.
Yay!
So there we go.
That's well done. I noticed that. Well done.
Thank you.
That was really good. Thank you.